Every now and then, I get an item for my collection which kind of warrants its own video. Something I wouldn't feel right just sort of lumping in with a vinyl update video where I give myself a very limited amount of time to go into as much detail as I want to. And that's not really what this is for. This isn't really so I can go into super deep detail about the album or anything. It's kind of just showing you the contents without being super rushed, because this is not something that really fits into a vinyl update video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about what's quickly become one of my favorite albums of this year. And really just the packaging and shit like that. And if you guys can read, you know what I'm talking about. But quickly, actually, before I really start, that's what we're listening to. This is the new Winter Lore album. This shit is so fucking good, guys. Seriously. If you like very, very modestly folky tinged, cold, raw, riffy black metal with hints of melody that are, it's just fucking so good, man. That's actually better than the original, the first Winter Lore album, which is Four Swords Against the Pious. But man, you guys have to hear this shit. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about. Of course, the band I'm going to be talking about here in this video is the band Embalmer, which I'm sure a fair few of you are probably pretty familiar with. But if you're not, and if you're not familiar with Embalmer, it's a sort of super heavy death metal, almost death grindy band from Cleveland, Ohio, formed in like '89 under the name, I believe it was Corpse Grinder or something like that, and changed their name after maybe they probably changed their name before they released even their first demo. So it wasn't that for very long, and then they changed the name, of course, to Embalmer. And in 1995, and what this band is probably most well known for is their 1995 EP, There Was Blood Everywhere. And if you guys remember, I do have the Die Hard of There Was Blood Everywhere that has the fucking meat cleaver glued to the bloody mailer, which still to this day is one of the most ridiculous things that I have in my collection. And I won't go into too much detail, but it opens like this, and there's like an image on the inside. And I think this is number like 101 out of 111 or something. Yeah, 101 out of 111. And to this day, man, this EP holds up as being probably one of my favorite EPs ever. And one of the first death metal releases that I ever heard years ago. The cover caught my attention, and yeah, there was really no turning back. So, I mean, you guys may remember that I showed this. I showed this in probably 2014, so it's been a while. But, of course, it's a picture disc and stuff like that. Really, really nice quality all the way around. And, of course, Headbangers does a great job with their picture disc. But, anyway, after this album, the EP, a few years after this, Embalmer ended up splitting up, and it was like a 7-year hiatus before they came back in 2005. And in 2006, they released their very first, their debut album called 13 Faces of Death, which, if you guys have heard it, you can agree that that was probably not, in your opinion, a high point in Embalmer's career, because me personally, that album, nothing about it really stood the test of time. It's not a memorable album, and it really didn't do what I'm sure a lot of people were hoping for when Embalmer released their very first album. And now, 10 years later, we have the second Embalmer album, which is called Emanations From The Crypt. And I was excited to hear about this happening, but when I heard about this specific version of this release happening, you have to imagine that I was all the more excited. And of course, I'm talking to you about the Die Hard edition of Embalmer's Emanations From The Crypt. I can easily consider this the second most ridiculous, over-the-top packaging in my collection, next to that deceased coffin. Because, and if you guys have seen this, you know why, but I'll go into detail. Anyway, here's what you'll see on the front of this thing. This is not the album cover, but this is what you see on the inside of the gatefold. It's basically a guy in a meat grinder, Emanations from the Crypt, in like a bloody box. And this box is sealed with evidence tape. Not anymore, because I had to cut it to open the goddamn thing, which is a little bit annoying. But anyway, here's the top right here. It says Embalmer, Emanations from the Crypt, of course. Evidence box, I have number 2 out of 100, which I think is really cool. On the back of this thing, you have a real deal fucking Coroner's Report, because this is called the Coroner's Report Edition. And I'll read this to you because it's kind of ridiculous. But again, that's kind of why I wanted this. You know, when I see things that are this fucking over the top and insane, even though it's completely unnecessary for some bands, I'm totally willing to do it with. And Embalmer is one of them, as you see, because I had the fucking There Was Blood Everywhere Die Hard. But anyway, so this opens up, and it basically, each one of these is handwritten, and it gives a detailed description of a sort of made-up murder. And each, like I said, each one of them is different, and they're each handwritten. And I love this, man. This is so fucking cool. So, it says autopsy case number 166002. And 166, I believe, I'm not really sure what 166 is supposed to mean, but 002, of course, is the number that I have. And like I said, I mean, it basically gives a detailed description of this fucking, you know, this murder. And it says description of course, and it's a corpse, and it says burned / charred, external injuries, blistered skin, missing leg right, internal injuries, smoke inhalation, boiled organs, medical diagnosis, burnt to a crisp, notes, corpse disintegrated when moved. Further action, yes. It says burial, and you can see, you know, it's supposed to be like the burn affected the whole body, and it's missing the right leg. I just think it's so fucking cool. Unfortunately, in the description of this on Hell's Headbangers, it did say that the person's name, the person who bought it, their name would actually be on the thing, and unfortunately, that didn't happen. I'm not really sure why, but I don't really care. Anyway. This is signed by the original drummer of Embalmer, the only original member left, Roy the Embalmer Stewart. And yeah, man, if you know anything about Embalmer, they've gone through 100 million lineup changes. Roy Stewart being the only original member still in the band, like I said. So anyway, let me show you what's in this thing, because it gets even more ridiculous than this. So it opens like this. Like I said, it is a cardboard box, but on the inside here, I'll show you the record last. You do get a turntable slip mat, which the thing about turntable slip mats, I only like them if they don't have the band logo and, like, you know, an album title on it. I don't know why. It's just a small gripe, I guess, but whatever. Anyway, this shit gets a little bit retarded, because you get 3 evidence bags of, like, random things that, and each one of them has, like, a description of evidence and stuff like that. So the first one you get is a small bottle of embalming fluid, and I've got no idea if this is real embalming fluid. I can't imagine that it is, but it does say Hell's embalming fluid on it. Like, it's got like a custom label and everything. But yeah, like, I mean, you can see there is liquid in there, and there is an evidence sticker on the front of this bag. It says agency, HHR. There's an item description, item number, a case number, date of collection, time of collection. This says collected by R. Stewart. Description of evidence says small bottle of embalming fluid found empty at time of collection. Presence of formaldehyde confirmed. Location of collection, murder scene. Type of offense, capital murder, abuse of corpse. Identity unknown. Suspect under investigation. So this is the embalming fluid, but you also get fucking a serious bag of, like, bloody frayed, like, it's like a noose of rope. This shit is so fucking ridiculous, man. Like, I mean, it wasn't even that expensive for what you get, but, you know, certain times, man, I just feel like buying just really ridiculous things, and I think this is evidence of that. No pun intended. But yeah, like seriously, it's fucking like bloody rope. And again, you get a sort of evidence bag with whatever. Again, date of collection, time of collection, collected by another band member's name. Description of evidence says rope used for strangulation contains evidence of blood confirmed by luminol analysis. Yeah. I mean, this shit is just fucking so ridiculous, man. Nobody needs this, but it's so cool. I don't know, man. And finally, you get a serious fucking meat cleaver. Again, there's like blood in the bag and shit like that. It's so fucking over the top. I love this, man. Anyway, it says meat cleaver removed from cadaver neck. Yeah, murder scene. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do with this? I keep it in the box, of course, but it's just ridiculous, man. I love this. So fucking cool. And anyway, it does come with, of course, the record itself, which is right here. This is the actual album cover, which you did see on the slip mat of this that was in the box here. But, man, like I said, dude, in terms of death metal, this is fucking cream of the crop this year, in my opinion. The only thing that would come close to it is the new Cathelist album. But even then, man, that doesn't have, in my opinion, the punch that this does. This is how Embalmer should sound. The songs are short, the songs are fucking punchy, they're right to the point, they're fast, and they're fucking heavy, man. That is the one thing 13 Faces of Death just didn't do. I didn't feel like the songs were really fucking heavy. And they had a heavy sound. The thing is, I don't think of that album as being heavy. I don't remember it being heavy. But, of course, it probably is. I just, you know, so that album just didn't do it for me. But this, right here, man, this is how Embalmer should sound. They have a new vocalist, they have a new guitarist, a new bassist. Yeah, two guitarists, two new guitarists, a new vocalist, a new bassist, and of course the same drummer who's always been in the band. But I love this fucking album, man. I listened to it last night and I was reading along with the lyrics, and the whole time I was just like, this is so fucking good, man. And the vocals, the new vocalist, his name is Paul Gorefiend, or he goes by Paul Gorefiend. His vocals are so deep. The first time I heard a song from this, which is actually I Am the Embalmer, the second track on this thing, the first time I heard that specific song, I almost didn't recognize that the vocals were even vocals because they were so fucking deep and heavy that it sounded like bass. And it was ridiculous, and that's probably my favorite song on this thing. If not Procession of Bones, it'd have to be my favorite. This whole album is just fucking awesome. But anyway, this album is, well, it's 12 tracks long, but the 11th track on here, They Can Smell Our Blood, is actually from 13 Faces of Death. It's just redone for this album. And then there's an outro called The Graveyard Fog. But this album's not very long. It's not very long, but like I said, each song is very fast. They're very short songs. And man, this just has a lasting impression because this album is fucking awesome. Anyway, here's the gatefold. Like I said, I read along with the lyrics. The one thing that did confuse me is the way that the second side starts out. It starts out with this track right here, and you would imagine, you know, if you just think about it, that the next track would be these set of lyrics right here. But no, it's this song, and then it's this one, and then it's like this one, and then it's that one. And when I was reading it, because I was reading the lyrics for this one, not knowing what the song was called, and I was like, I can't follow this at all. But yeah, that was a little bit of a strange, decision there. But either way, man, I love this fucking album. I don't really know. There's not really much I can say about it. But this album is one of my favorite albums of this year, and you guys have to listen to this shit, because I wouldn't buy this ridiculous box of nonsense if I didn't really, really like the album. Anyway, I'll show you the picture disc itself, and then we can end this off. And of course, it being a Hell's Headbangers picture disc, like I said, it's really, really nice quality. And there's the back, Emanations From The Crypt. Yeah. If Embalmer continues in this direction, then bring it on, man. Give us all the goddamn albums, because this shit is awesome. And right now, this is easily in my top 3 favorite albums of this year. This thing is ridiculous, and an album as good as this really deserves the super elaborate Die Hard for the people who want it. And I am one of those people, and Embalmer has my total support. So check this out, guys. I think you'll like it. This is Embalmer with Emanations From The Crypt. And that's it. I'm going to end this here. I just wanted to quickly go through and talk about a couple of the Die Hard Embalmer stuff that I had, because like I said, throwing this into a regular vinyl update video just wouldn't have been feasible. So, one of the coolest fucking things in my collection, man. Along with this one. They're both really awesome. So, check it out. I think you guys will enjoy it if you enjoy good fucking death metal. And, yeah. We'll do this again soon, but of course it'll probably just be a regular vinyl update video, or unless I come up with something different. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you like it, and till next time.